people normally say a good leader, esoteric leader is able to, with ordinary people, produce extraordinary results.
Sure. And extraordinary leaders can really produce extraordinary results for the system as well.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's very, very critical. All right. Esoteric leadership, therefore, is about using charisma, presence, magnetism, mystic, and magic of leadership. So there are some of these elements which defy the science, defy the bonded logical knowledge of management that we have learned over a period of time through all literature and colleges and education. So it is about using the charisma, and no one teaches you how to create a charisma. No one teaches you how to create your presence, your magnetism in the role that you are performing, and using the mystic and magic of leadership to create that additional output, that additional value, which the systems, processes, and resources cannot create.
Right.
And that is what esoteric leadership is all about. Okay. Now, unfortunately, we have been taught over a period of time that whatever is logical can be learned, whatever is science that can be learned, whatever is mathematical that can be learned, because it can be formulated. But whatever defies the rational logic, or whatever cannot be seen, or whatever cannot be put into mathematical algorithmic equations cannot be learned. And that is where the whole mistake happens. All right. The matchless outcomes that we are looking out for, which is going beyond what the resources, beyond what the processes can deliver, are outcome of a leader's ability to create a breakthrough in the understanding of how people are to be managed. How do you create higher value by using people and your leadership styles to enable them to deliver value which is much higher? Okay. Right. So formula is very simple. If you succeed in breaking the code of mystical leadership, or if you succeed in understanding the magical formula that goes into making esoteric leadership, then the formula that you have to remember is very simple. You have to learn the logic of science, and you have to learn to break the code of the magic of leadership. And then between the two of them, you will be able to fulfill the value creation agenda of your organization, the happiness agenda of your organization, and the flourish agenda of your organization. And that's the magic of it. Now, the purpose of esoteric leadership is to use a leadership advantage. Till now, you have been using the advantages of the resources, the processes, the systems, but esoteric leadership is about using the unique leadership advantage to inspire, to motivate, to engage, and to connect with the people so that you deliver outcomes which are much higher than the limits of efficiency. Efficiency has a limit. How do you gain a unique, sustainable advantage from leadership which connects and motivates with the people so that along with them, you are able to create results which are much higher than what your investment in resources and systems is all about? All right. Now, the question again is that when you break through the shell of mystical leadership, or when you break through the shell of esoteric leadership, what do you find inside? Now, I am going to be limiting myself to 25 minutes only, but though we run an entire course on this, I'm not going to be going into the details of it. I will tell you what are some of the 7 things that you will find inside the shell. If you were to dissect the shell of mystical leadership or dissect the shell of esoteric leadership, what will you find inside? Number 1, you will find authenticity, positivity, and spiritual integrity. All right. So that's the first part of it. Authenticity, positivity, and spiritual integrity. Number 2, when you will go inside, what will you find? You will find a tremendous amount of courage, which is why you say a leader, where do you put courage in the entire equation of efficiency? There is no courage required, because it is about systems, effectiveness of systems, efficiencies, ensuring no leakages, etc., etc. But then where is the role of courage that we are talking about? A leader has got to be courageous. A leader has got to be brave, to be able to face the challenges of adversity that hide him out, right? So therefore, when you will dissect the shell of esoteric leadership, the second element you will find inside is called courage, resilience, and vitality. How do you revitalize the system? Because whenever there is adversity, your system loses its elasticity, loses its vitality, and tends to crumple down. Depressions set in. So how do leaders who are courageous with their resilience are able to revitalize or put elasticity in their entire style and people so that they are able to create better results? So that's the second part of it. The third element of esoteric leadership, when you will cut through the shell, you will find inspiration, influence, and soft touch. All right, because at these kinds of times, soft touch is very, very critical. And influence and inspiration, because whilst you require soft touch, it is a lot not like a nurse who's going to put some bandage on it, but that soft touch is to influence and inspire people to get up from the positions that they have fallen and to feel depressed that, oh my God, my world has come to an end, to normalize it from, to temper it from a state of disaster to, you see, there is what we call a state of normalization. That is, people tend to believe in moments of adversity that you are between the two states of a disaster or minimalization. Oh, it has no effect at all. You know, right in the beginning, oh, it will pass away. Don't worry. You know, this COVID and all is nothing. You know, people are making too much out of it. So you are totally avoiding it and minimalizing it. On the other hand, you try to create a disaster sense out of it to say, oh my God, world is coming to an end. This is Armageddon. You know, Nostradamus had predicted the world is ending. So this is the beginning of the end. So a leader from the sense has to then create a certain element of normalization. And this happens through his soft touch, through inspiration and influence. That's the third thing that you will find. The fourth thing in the shell of esoteric leadership you will find is empathy, passion, and compassion. All right. Empathy is leaders' ability to be able to sense the emotional state in which the person who has experienced certain disaster is. So empathize with him and see how to balance it, be passionate about it, and create compassion. Now, passion is something which I will never recommend. So the passion from a leader's point of view is different. When you do something very passionately, and which is what most leadership literature goes wrong, passion blinds to rationality. It does not allow you to see a rational outcome. It tends to get you blindly running and pursuing a goal without understanding the consequences. Passion is wrong. Dispassion is right, which means a leader is able to keep his own passion behind, is able to ensure that the people are looking at the situation as it is and doing the right thing, so that they are then able to get over it and fulfill and do the right things that are required, and not just passionately continue to do the wrong thing, even if it is giving you wrong results. The fourth of the seventh element you will see, as I told you, you will find 7 parts in this mystical leadership, or what we call the esoteric leadership, is called mindfulness, equanimity, and calmness. The situation disturbs people in such a bad way that they lose their equanimity, they lose their balance, they lose their calmness, they become suddenly very hyper, they suddenly start screaming, they suddenly start shouting, they show anxiety, they show depression. At that point of time, the esoteric leader who will get the followers to work for him is the one who is mindful of the situation. He is not bothered about what is the ego of the past. He is not bothered about past situation. He is only bothered about how do I help you in the here and now to overcome your problems. And when the followers see a leader doing that, they are able to rise up and start believing in him. And that is when they go to give results which are more higher than what the systems, resources, processes, and technology can give to him. So mindfulness, equanimity, and calmness, total calmness. If a leader himself is not calm, then the rest of the followers will not want to follow him, because they'll say, agar yehi khud dar gaya hai, to hamara kya hoga? All right. The fourth is temperance, reasonableness, and justice. And not everything about esoteric leadership is only linked to adversity. All right. So these are about good times and bad times. What is it that makes followers follow the leader to deliver value and results which are much higher than what efficiency is all about? So it is temperance, your ability to temper the situation, your reasonableness, because people are going to fall, people are going to fall down. And in certain situations, it is reasonable to acknowledge it. In certain situations, they may be falling out of fear. So with reasonableness, when do you massage him and when do you tell him, and when do you at times use a positive kick to get him up and start running? So that is called reasonableness. And also be mindful of justice. A leader who does not have justice will not have open-hearted followership. And unless and until people believe that the leader is just, is wise, is able to really be giving proper justice, they will not follow him. And if they don't follow him wholeheartedly, they will be passively resisting him. And when they passively resist a leader, then the leader's ability to create that additional value out of his esoteric style is going to be missing totally.